Welcome to the wonderful world of pragmatic psychology. I'm your host, Susanna Mittermaier, and we are going to explore how your difference is the gift that our world requires. Hello, amazing, wonderful you. This is Susanna Mittermaier for another episode of Pragmatic Psychology, Be the Peacock. What else is possible for our children and teenagers? The world is changing. So is what we could contribute to those who are children and teenagers. And, when we grew up, the world was as it was. And it's pretty interesting. Imagine being a child now and there being, whatever's going on in the world, you being part of that and perceiving that through the eyes of children. Now, the amazing thing is with children is they are so flexible and have such an easy time with change oftentimes. Why? Because they don't have points of view as grown-ups do. Children are like, they oftentimes adopt and take on their parents' points of view or their family's points of view, but they haven't made it so solid that if you ask them about it, they're pretty easy and fast to change them or let them go. Grown-ups, they take on points of view from other people, family, surroundings, culture, country. And after years and years and years of taking them on and making them theirs, they think it is theirs. They create it as theirs and they make it their personality. They make it their way of functioning in the world, and they view the world through those points of view that in the first place have never been theirs. So that's a bit of more work with grown-ups to let go of that solidity of things that have never been theirs and things that they've taken on as theirs. But it's possible. I mean, we do it every day. It's just most of them have like this value of holding on to those limitations and points of view that limit them because they confuse those as theirs. And they confuse it as, this is me, this is my life. And letting go of something you have concluded, that is me, this is my life, letting that go feels like, oh my God, I'm losing myself. I don't know who I am anymore, which most people see as a wrongness, but it's actually a strongness. It's a huge possibility to have that courage to letting go of things that are limiting you. And even if you for a moment don't know who you are, even if you go, oh my God, like I'm losing myself. Are you losing yourself or are you getting access to you like never before? And children, they function different. They are aware of things that are going on in the world. They oftentimes make it theirs, but they still haven't made it so solid that if you start asking them questions, they're really fast and flexible. So one of the things that I've just done, I just had a 5-week program with pragmatic psychology for people who work with children. And it was working pragmatically with children. And the people who joined were everything from parents, grandparents, teachers, coaches, therapists, facilitators of any kind, anybody who works with children in any way. And we were having this 5-week adventure together where I facilitated them and showed them tools of how else they can work with children. And there were a lot of aspects coming up that many other people also have where they struggle, especially like with their own children. Like when people work with kids, that's one thing, but having your own children, it's, what the people talked about in the class was them struggling because when it comes to my own children, now, like that level of ease that I have when I work with other people that are not mine, I kind of lose it when I work with my own children. And so we looked at that. And one of the elements that we talked about, both working with children and having your own children, is called, and here we go, allowance. Now that's a biggie. Sounds easy. It is easy, but it's also at the same time quite a challenge to have allowance. What is allowance? Allowance is where you don't agree in a line and you don't resist and react, where everything is just an interesting point of view. So with children, like what most people think is their job, whether they work with children or it's their own children, is that it's their job to make sure that they're doing the right thing, that they're behaving appropriately. Now, let's look at that. If you think your job is to make sure that children, yours or others, are behaving appropriately or doing the right thing or making sure they will do the right thing in the future, exactly what are you creating with that point of view? And next question, does that really work? Has it ever worked on you? Like how many people tried to correct your behavior when you were a child? How many people try to control you? And maybe you have family that still tries to control you, even if you're grown up. How does that work? Does it work? Or do you do your own thing anyway? Do you do whatever you like as much as possible? And do you sometimes do what they want just to, smooth things out or to go, okay, I'm going to do it this time so they, are happy about themselves? And that's the case very often, when kids are doing whatever you want to do, they do it because, it's easier, or parents are going to be happy about themselves that they got me to do this and this. But it's not like, it's like if you really want to look at how can I invite my child or the children that I work with to know what they know and to empower them to know that they have what it takes to go through anything. Or if you want to empower your kids to access their capacities, correcting behavior doesn't really do it. So what if you fire yourself from that job of correcting behavior and making sure they're doing the right job and controlling everything they do? Because most parents do that. You're not the only one, and you're not wrong for doing that. Please, again, you're not wrong for doing that. It's just what we've learned from generation after generation after generation. But if you look at, hey, what really works? Let's be pragmatic here. What really works with creating future with your children? Well, it's empowerment. Empowerment is the only thing that works in that regard, where you go, okay, so how can I be a contribution to my child to access what they know? And how do you do that? By asking them questions, not by controlling their behavior, but by asking them questions. And that's a very vital point. Instead of controlling behavior, ask them questions. Hey, how do you see this? What's your take on that? How is that for you? That choice that you made there in school, hey, what future do you see that will create? Does that really work for you? Is that the future you want to see yourself having? Or would you like something different? What would you like? And also asking them questions about their body. Hey, body, what does your body like to eat? Does your body like to eat something now? Or are you aware of all the other bodies that are eating right now, and is that really yours? Or anything, that question of who does this belong to, them being upset or them having something that's solid or heavy, who does this belong to? Is it you? Who are you being? Are you being someone else in your class? Like when we work with children, for example, who have an exam coming up and they're really nervous and they're upset and think they can't do it. Like I always ask them, hey, who does this belong to? How many of the other kids are you aware of that are doing the exam, that are super nervous, that they think in their head that they can't do it? Is that your thought, or are you picking it up from others? Oh, I'm picking it up from others. Okay, cool. So can you just let it go, send it back? And what is your world? What is your reality? If you would be you, what would you choose here? And that always creates that space where they go, oh, okay, I can have my own world while being aware of other people's worlds. So that's just a totally different way of going about it. And again, notice where you're trying to control rather than being an allowance of what your kids are choosing. That is much easier. What is true for you uniquely? What possibilities are available for you with money, business, relationship, your whole life and future like never before? Are you ready to explore? Welcome to the new program, Pragmatic Exploration, starting in April. Find more on www.susannamittermaier.com. It's funny, and I had a mom who applied those tools during that program that we had, and she said, "Yeah, it's incredible. I've never thought I could have that much ease with my 3 children," and it was like a daily battle that we had. And then I applied the tools that I learned from you, and everything just changed. And then, and she wrote to me, "Yeah, but now I kind of feel bad that I have it so easy." I'm like, all the other parents are struggling and I have ease. What's wrong? Maybe I should work harder. I have so much time for myself now. I have time again to create, to become clear on what I would like. Because, having 3 children, I never had time to think about my life and my wishes and my desires. I now have the space and the time to think about my own desires and my own wishes, and which is kind of cool and scary at the same time, because I kind of now want to figure out what I would like, not only taking care of my children, what would I like to have as my future? And that's oh my God, now I have this space and this time now that everything is easier with them. And it's so funny because then we had this conversation about, allowing yourself to have ease where you shouldn't have ease. I mean, rearing children, having children, especially 3, as she has, it shouldn't be easy. You should be full on occupied, dealing with struggles and taking care and worrying all the time. I mean, that's normal. That's normal for families, but it doesn't have to be normal for you. So what if you don't need to be a normal parent? What if you allow yourself to have more ease than is normal, and enjoy it and allow it? Again, enjoy it and allow it. And so we had that conversation, and she said, well, that's a big step for me to really allow myself to have that level of ease when other people next to me are struggling. And so she said, well, okay, you know what? Even if I'm wrong in other people's eyes, even if I do too little, even if I worry too little, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to allow myself to have that ease. And she did. And it's incredible what that creates for her. And she's looking at, well, what else she would like to do for her in her life, which is amazing because, you're supposed to give up your life for your family. That's this world's point of view. And yeah, that's a choice. It's not wrong. But what would you like? What if you can have it all? What if you can be an awesome parent and create your life? Even if you have no idea how, what if you just ask for it? What if it's never an either or? Hey, what are the infinite possibilities for me to be an awesome parent, plus have the space to access my creativity and to create my life and future? Ask that question and make the choice to just go, I don't know how, but I'm going to have that no matter what. And see what shows up in your awareness. See what presents itself to you as you live your life. Wow. And what an inspiration would you be to other people if you would allow that? But that's really the willingness to be different. And if you look at what is normal, what is a normal way of being a parent and having a family? If you just write down 3 aspects of how you're supposed to function and how you're supposed to behave, just write down 3 aspects of what you've decided is a normal way of functioning. And you can pause the podcast now and just write down 3 aspects, or do it later as you wish. And then look at that. Have you tried yourself? Have you tried to do that? And how does it work for you? Has your life expanded trying to do that? Or has your life contracted trying to do that? So what if you don't need to be normal? How different can you be? How much fun can you have with something you're not supposed to have fun with? Wow. And what if the people in your life can actually be a contribution to you rather than something you have to take care of? Totally, totally different perspective. And also, another aspect that came up in that program that I just talked about before was like there were a lot of things. I mean, 5-week program working with children. I mean, there were so many things we talked about and tools. But just for you guys to share on this podcast, I'm just going, okay, what else? Another aspect that I just remember was where a mother of 3, was it 2 or 3? I don't remember, teenage children said, well, like one of them likes to party now and he's like, and I worry, and maybe he's, whatever he's doing at the parties. And it's like, remember when you were a child or a teenager, what did you do? How many things did you do that your parents had no idea that you did? And maybe it was probably a good thing that they didn't know about it. And what did that give you? What did you learn? How much fun did you have? And also the times where you did something that was stupid, that wasn't fun for you, what did you learn? How much awareness did you get on what works for you and what doesn't work for you? Like I remember when I was a child, or a teenager actually, my first party, the first time I was drinking alcohol, and it was Baileys back at the days, and I drank a bit too much. I felt horrible. And I actually, from that one experience, I knew I'm not going to do that again. Like, I felt so bad the day after, I'm not going to do that again. So since then, until now, I know it's crazy, but I never got so drunk that I, was gone or was, passed out. I never was drunk again after that in a way where I felt bad the day after. I just knew I'm not going to do this to my body again, like not happening. Like that's something that choice created an awareness for me where I'm like, okay, that doesn't work for me. That feels bad. Like, why would I do that? And it's like, even the experiences where you did a lot of stupid things, and maybe you did stupid things many, 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 many times, you learned something, you found out what is my reality? What would I like? What do I not like? And that is such a gift. That is such a treasure box of possibilities. So what if that is not something we need to control out of existence and make sure the children are doing the right thing? What if you trust that they have what it takes to go through those experiences? And what if you knowing that they have what it takes, and you by that be the space where they know that they have what it takes to be in this world, explore what works for them, explore what doesn't work for them. And you trust that whatever happens, they have what it takes. And if there's something where they need help, they know they can call you and they will. And you can just contribute to them and help them, not from you did something wrong, but from, okay, that was probably an interesting choice, right? So, okay, let's just deal with this, get over with this and move on. And what did you learn from that? That's it. And again, rather than control, what if you just empower your kids and relax and enjoy your children? Don't worry so much. Just enjoy them. What else is possible that you have never, ever considered? And what if you let that in? What if you're willing to be a bad parent? Because worrying about being a good parent all the time, oh my goodness, that's stressful. What else do I do? What else should I do? What haven't I done? It's like comes with the territory of becoming parents. But you relaxing and going, you know what, even if I'm a bad parent, what if that is just an interesting choice? And what if that is what I call bad is not so bad? But if you resist and avoid being bad and try to be only good, how much stress do you create in your world and your body? How much stress do you create in a relationship with your children? And if you're willing to be wrong and bad, even if you probably aren't, but you think you are, and you're willing to be it, how much more relaxation would that create in your life and your future? So embrace all of it. Embrace all of you. And the kids right now, oh my goodness, so brilliant. What can we receive from them? What can we learn from them? And the times when they're not being nice and good, so what? It's all there. It's all like with space for all of it. And what capacities do they have? And what capacities do you have that you also had as a child? That being with children can contribute to you accessing what you always known, that you maybe hid in your childhood or hid somewhere in your world, that it's now time to unleash. And what different future can we create? And if you want more of that, check out my book. It's called Fairy Tale Family. It's tools on having ease with kids and family. And also I'm going to do a one-day class actually in Slovenia and also online, available for anybody online. It doesn't have any prereqs. And it's going to be this summer actually on July 17th. So it's a pragmatic psychology class, having more ease with children and being a parent and family and all aspects of that. So I wish you a wonderful day. If this is something that you know someone needs to listen to and hear, just share that episode with them, and let's have way too much fun with anything and everything. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. How was the show for you? Are you inspired? Feel free to share this episode with anyone you think would appreciate it too. Thank you for the contribution you are to spreading possibilities around the world. For more information, visit my webpage www.susannamittermaier.com.